There's only a handful of consultants in Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota, that area, not a whole ton of us. And the products, though, are exploding. People are loving them and loving what we have to do. And mostly, I am loving the fact that Epicure helps me to make a meal from fresh, so fruits and vegetables right out of my refrigerator, to on my dinner plate in 20 minutes or less. And I can't wait to show you that today with fajitas. And fajitas are one of my favorites because I can cook them in 7 minutes. And then like 3 minutes or so of chopping and dicing and things like that. So I did just a little bit of prep work today. As you hop on, give me a wave. Tell me what you're up to this afternoon. Let me know who's here. Just so that I can say hi. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for... Oh, let me speak up. I forgot about that. Is it better? Can you hear me a little better now? I just got a new setup and it's a little further away, so that might be why it's hard to hear. I will talk a bit louder. We're going to make fajitas today, so we're going to just jump in and get started. The reason that I'm able to make fajitas so quickly is because of this multi-purpose steamer. This is made of high-quality, food-grade silicone. It's BPA-free and it's non-leaching. This is about 8 by 8, so when we open it up, about 4 inches deep, about 8 by 8, and it comes with this trivet. We're not going to be using the trivet today, but I use the trivet to make 13-minute rice in my microwave. I use the trivet to make bacon in my microwave in the steamer. Bacon without the mess in 6 minutes is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I also use the trivet just by itself in the microwave to make potato chips or other vegetable chips that are healthy and still give me that crunch that I like, but without a whole bag of greasy, oily potato chips. I can put a protein in the bottom, so maybe chicken, beef, whatever kind of protein you're thinking. Flip the trivet upside down and it creates a convenient little tray that I put vegetables right on top of. Usually in our house that's broccoli and carrots. So I do my chicken or my beef in the bottom, then I put my broccoli and carrots right on top, stick the whole thing in the microwave, and 6 minutes later dinner is done. Today we're not going to use the trivet because all of our vegetables and our chicken will go all in together. A lot of times I make these with steak, but we had the steaks for dinner last night instead of for fajitas today. So today I'm using chicken. And we're just going to jump in and get started. We're going to use this multi-purpose steamer, and I'm going to start by cutting up my chicken. So you can use whatever kind of protein you have. If you like pork, if you like beef, if you like fish, that's fine too. Or if you prefer some sort of meat substitute, tofu, things like that, you go for it. Whatever you want to do in your kitchen, Epicure is really customizable because I shouldn't be deciding your meal plan and the company shouldn't be deciding your meal plan. You should decide what you want to eat in your home. So I'm going to use my Prep Pro knife. I really like this paring knife because it's a ceramic blade. We also offer the chef's knife, which I would have used today because I like the chef's knife just a little bit better and it's available right now. But the ceramic blade means that you never have to sharpen it and it's super sharp, cuts super easy. We're just going to cut our chicken or our beef or our pork into strips. And just into nice, like, manageable chunks. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. I'm going to make sure that I cut all the way through it. And then I'm going to just toss it right into my steamer. And then I'm going to wash my hands really fast because I try not to cross-contaminate, right? At the end of the day, nobody wants salmonella poisoning because I was cutting up chicken. Then I'm going to go ahead and flip my cutting board over. So this is an Epicure cutting board. It is part of the July Hostess exclusive. So if you host a party in July, you'll have access to this cutting board. Otherwise, it's not available. But I like it because it's cutting surface on both sides. And I just washed my counter so you can see it's a little damp, but that's okay. So I'm just going to flip it over. All my chicken grossness is on the bottom. And I'm going to start again. I also pre-cut my peppers. I am not good at cutting and talking and explaining at the same time. It always ends badly. The one time I did it in a class, I sliced my finger and it was terrible and I had to stop. So I pre-sliced my peppers. This is 2 peppers sliced up just in regular fajita size slices. It took me about, 3-4 minutes to slice that all up. So not like the end of the world. I didn't spend all day doing that. So I put my peppers right in on top of my chicken. Then I'm going to take my fajita seasoning. So Epicure seasonings come in jars like this. Some of them come in jars that are a little bit bigger. And they clearly have the name on them. Then when you turn them around, they've got all your nutrition facts. Let's see if I can get that clearer. Oh gosh. And they also have your instructions. So all the ingredients are here. As you read the ingredients, I want you to notice that they're all ingredients you can like name. So it's spices, and if you need a list of what those spices are, I can provide that list. For proprietary blend purposes, they give it in alphabetical order and they don't put it on the jar, but there's also chili powder, mustard flour, herbs, cayenne pepper, lemon, black pepper, garlic, and rice concentrate, and a little tiny bit of salt. The thing that's important to know about Epicure's products is they're all very low sodium, however. So you're not choosing super high sodium products like some of the other things we see in the grocery store. I'm going to go ahead and take 2 tablespoons of this. So just like the bottle says, it says cook 1 pound of thinly sliced chicken or beef, 1 onion, 2 peppers, and 2 tablespoons of seasoning. I wanted to do onions, but I went to pull my onions out and they are gone. So no onions in today's fajitas. And I'm just going to dump 2 tablespoons of the seasoning in there. You might be wondering about this fancy spoon that I have. I love this measuring spoon because it's a 4-in-1. So it's 1 tablespoon here, 1 teaspoon here. Then when I flip it over, it's a half teaspoon and a quarter teaspoon. And it also fits in my jar. It's nice because it's a nice, like, long, narrow guy. Love this spice spoon. So now that I have all that in, I'm going to stir it together. If you're feeling brave, and sometimes I feel brave, I just put the lid on the multi-purpose steamer. I lost a pepper. I'm not a great stirrer. I just put the lid on the multi-purpose steamer and shake. But today, I'm not feeling like I'm that coordinated. So far, all I've done is I've cut up chicken, I've cut up peppers, I would have cut up onions if I had them, and I've added some spice and mixed it all together. I'm going to throw this spoon in the sink because it's been in raw chicken. Now that I have that all mixed together, check that out. Beautiful. It smells nice too. The flavor of, the flavor of our seasonings is so fresh and so bright that you can smell it. As soon as my husband walks in today, he is going to know that we're having fajitas because it smells delicious. Put the lid right on that, and I'm going to go put it in the microwave for 7 minutes. I will be right back in just a second. Alright, so the fajitas are cooking, but with every fajita, I like to have chips, salsa, and guacamole. So we're going to make chip salsa, I'm not going to make chips. We're going to make salsa and guacamole today, and we're going to make it the super easy Epicure way. So I've already cut up my tomatoes. Like I mentioned, cutting me on a camera is not a good idea, so I pre-cut them. These are fresh tomatoes, but if you have a can of diced tomatoes or a can of crushed tomatoes, that works just as well. If tomatoes hadn't been on sale in my grocery store, I would not have used fresh tomatoes. I just would have used the diced canned ones because they're delicious still. Not as delicious as fresh tomatoes, but delicious still. We're also going to use poco picante. This is our salsa mix. It does more than make just salsa though. I use it as a seasoning on chicken a lot. I use it as a seasoning on vegetables. Adds just a little bit of extra kick. Again, like with our other jar, it has recipe right on it for salsa. It says stir 2 tablespoons of mix with 1 cup of diced tomatoes, a splash of cilantro, or splash of lime juice and cilantro. So I'm going to get 2 tablespoons of this. 1, 2. We're going to add a splash of lime juice. One other thing that I think is really important to know about Epicure products is it's 100% gluten-free and they're all manufactured in a nut-free facility. I'm not gluten-free myself, but I have tons of friends who are, whether that's because they have celiac disease or they have gluten intolerance, or they're just choosing not to use gluten or as much gluten in their diet. Epicure offers 100% all the time. Everything we manufacture is gluten-free. It's also manufactured all in a nut-free facility, so if you have family or friends with peanut allergies, except for coconut, there is little coconut in some of our products, particularly the desserts. But if you have friends with peanut allergies, which are super common, you don't have to worry about it because these products are all nut-free. Now I put that pico picante seasoning in here. We're just going to mix it up with the spoon. Sorry, my dishwasher is just cleaning, just stopped. So I'm going to gonna mix this all up. I like to put it in my fridge and let it stew for just like an hour or so before I eat it. Usually not that long, but it is ready to go right now. My husband also likes it if I add a little bit of corn, if I add a little bit of jalapeno just to give it a little extra kick. Sometimes I add some tomatillos, it gives it some color and a little different flavor. But this is our beautiful, super easy, fresh poco picante seasoning. To make a nice fresh salsa, nothing better to cool you down on a hot summer day or for an afternoon snack after you've had a long day at work. And it's healthy because we know exactly where all these ingredients came from. It was just tomatoes, and we used this beautiful seasoning from Epicure. So the third part of our day today is going to be guacamole. Anybody else out there love guacamole as much as I do? I can't get enough of it. I eat it all the time. Probably eat it more often than I should, but let's not tell anybody. Let's just keep eating guacamole, right? Epicure's guacamole seasoning is also another one of our favorites. The jar's a little bit differently shaped, but just like everything else, there's our ingredients, the list of ingredients that I can pronounce every single one of, and then when I turn it the other way, I have 2 different recipes right on the jar, as well as options for cooking. So I think it's important to note on this that guacamole seasoning is not just for guacamole. It is for seasoning seafood, fish, eggs, rice, tuna sandwiches, poultry, beef, whatever makes you happy. Yes, Jordan, everybody, I've never met anybody that doesn't like guacamole. So that is really nice and really easy to make, especially when you have such an easy dip. So as you can tell, I'm taking the wrapper off of this one. This is a brand new jar because I go through a lot of it. So as I pop the top, I want you to notice how full these spice jars are. So when you're spending $6.50, $7 on a jar of spices, first of all, this is a 3.4 ounce jar, so that's a pretty big jar, but it's full all the way to the brim, which makes my heart happy because that's more guacamole for me. I'm gonna put the lid on that for just a second. The instructions for this say take 2 ripe avocados, so I already cut them in half. Again, cutting a knife, not really great for me. So all I'm going to do is pop these guys right into my bowl. You can watch me fumble with my avocados because just because I cook partially for a living doesn't mean that I'm like elegant at it. It's not necessarily, goodness sakes. You don't have to be perfect to be an Epicure consultant, you just have to love food, right? What other questions does anybody have about Epicure? If you have questions about the company, go ahead and pop them in. And I know that this is in the middle of the afternoon on a Sunday, so some of us might be doing other things with our families or hanging out and, at the lake down somewhere doing something fun. So if you didn't have a chance to watch this live, comment with #replay and comment with any of your questions. I'll go back through and I'll monitor all those questions and answer them as I see them come in, so that way everybody gets their questions answered. Then we're just gonna, now that I have all these avocados out of their skins, I'm going to smash them up. This is the hardest part for me, is smashing them in a nice way, so that I feel like I am doing it elegantly and look like I know what I'm doing, but really I'm just taking a fork and squishing them into pieces. I prefer my guac a little chunkier too, so I don't do it quite as smooth. If you like a really smooth guac, you can always take like a hand food processor and food process them up a little bit. I like the realness that a chunkiness provides. If you like, you can also add just about anything that you want into here. You can add some really nice diced fresh tomatoes. I sometimes like a can of fresh green chilies in there. And then just like on the container says, it says mash 2 ripe avocados and combine with 3 tablespoons of dip mix. I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my same spice spoon, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 tablespoons. It also says to add just a splash of lime juice. That splash of lime juice helps add just that little bit of brightness. I love a little bit of acid and a little bit of brightness in my guac and in my salsa. Just makes everything fantastic. So we're going to mix this all up. We've been here, we started at 2 o'clock and it's now 2:18. So we've been here for 18 minutes. A lot of that has been me chatting. If I'm not gabbing, I cook much faster. And here, ready to go, dishwasher. This is delicious. It's bright. This jar has a lot of amazing ingredients. So it's got your bell pepper in it. It's got your garlic and spices and onions and herbs and chilies. So it's got a lot of the flavor already there. I've never added anything to it because I don't think it needs anything. And this is the amount of guacamole that's perfect for me to sit down in the afternoon and enjoy some. Now, if you're also like me and you're like, gosh, I probably shouldn't eat 2 avocados with a guacamole today, you can also freeze this. So I have a silicone muffin pan. It's an Epicure silicone muffin pan made from the same high quality food grade silicone. It also, not only does our silicone go in the microwave like our steamer, it also goes in the dishwasher, it goes in the oven, and it can go in the freezer. So I'll take about half of this and I'll put it in muffin tins or muffin cans and then freeze it, and then when it's frozen, I just pop them out and put them in a bag. That way I have a serving size of guacamole whenever I want. Just a little taste of avocado in my day. Our fajitas are done now, so I'm going to go grab those out of the microwave. So we have fajitas that are done, we have poco picante salsa that is done, and we have guacamole that is done. It's almost time for us to enjoy lunch. Perfect. So I'm pulling this out of the microwave. I want you to keep in mind that every microwave is different. So my microwave takes 6 to 7 minutes to cook this fajitas. My old microwave was shorter because it was a better microwave. My really old microwave, like the one that was a dinosaur, it took me maybe 9 minutes, but because it was from the 1980s, that's how long it took. Keep in mind that when you take things out of the microwave, they're going to be really hot and there's a lot of steam. So the way that the steamer cooks is it steams your food in its own juices, its own liquid, and the steam vents through these holes in the top. So when you take it off, make sure you open the lid away from you because I don't want you to get burned with the steam. I don't know if you could see that on the video. Oh, and look at how beautiful this is. I'm gonna hold it up to the camera. Yum. So these are perfectly cooked peppers. Beautiful. I'm done measuring now, so I'm just gonna use this spoon. Beautifully cooked chicken. Yeah, delicious. You can see this chicken's cooked all the way through and it's also seasoned beautifully. All we have to do now is take our fajitas, put them in a tortilla of your preference. I like corn tortillas, but my husband likes flour tortillas. So whatever makes you happiest as far as your tortilla preference, put them on that, then add your guac, add your pico, however you like to eat your tortilla, or eat your fajitas, and go from there. If you're looking for a little bit of a lower carb option, maybe without as much, without any tortillas, a lot of times I'll have this right on top of a beautiful bed of greens. It makes it just that much healthier and just that much easier. This all came together with all my talking, all of these items, this beautiful salsa, fresh, this nice guac, and our fajitas. Plus all my talking in 22 minutes. That's got to be a record. And if you can have dinner in your kitchen like this every night, who wouldn't? If you're looking for a little bit of income or a little bit of extra something in your life to help either, get you to a vacation or pay off some debt, Epicure is a fantastic opportunity, right? Like coming home after a long day of work is not easy for dinner. So we hope that you can find some great meal solutions, and I know there's going to be something that fits your kitchen because whether you cook in the microwave or you want to do something like these fajitas on the stovetop, they're quick, they're easy, and they're delicious, and they're also really healthy and really good for you. Low sodium, low sugar, and made from really, really good, high-quality ingredients. Thanks for joining us here today. I am so excited to continue to show you about Epicure, but in the meantime, I'm going to go have some fajitas. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.